North. Yeah, lots of sad-looking Ange Postecoglou back pages today. The Times, Postecoglou, this is our lowest ebb. The Sun is going for Postecoglou. And who knows if I will keep my job. They're sitting 15th in the table, and the verdict, the pullout from the Mail today, says Big Ange is sorry Spurs on worst run for 18 years. Furious fans turn on boss and board. Surely he's on the brink. Big Ange, big problems. I wonder if there'll be anything from today, or do you just stick with him to see if he can get you to a final? And does that turn things around? There's a lot of focus, of course, on Michael Oliver as well, following that sending off of Miles Lewis-Skelly in the Arsenal game. Michael Oliver was hit by sick death threats over the controversial decision to send off Miles Lewis-Skelly. Ref chiefs and PGMOL have slammed the abhorrent attacks on their top referee and revealed police are investigating. It doesn't take a genius to point out that, yes, you can be unhappy with a decision that goes against you, and especially a really poor one like this, but fans need to get a grip if they're behaving like this.
Yeah, completely. You know, with the best will in the world, we all lose sight of the fact it's only a game. I mean, it's important. Of course, it's a game. It's big business as well. The problem is that, you know, football referees, like anybody in the public eye, you know, like Coisty, like you, like me, you're always under scrutiny. And in the days of social media, people can say and do pretty much what they want without any fear, you know, of what sort of, you know, punishment they might get for it.
No responsibility for actions. That's what I've said it all along, Shebahn. We spoke about it 100 times, man. Until people have to take responsibility for their actions and what they say and things like that. I mean, arguably, well, not arguably, in my opinion, we had the worst sending off up here yesterday. The boy Diamandi gets sent off at Tannadice, and probably one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in my life. Shocking decision. The referee went over the VAR, had a look, and got it wrong, got it unbelievably wrong twice. However, that doesn't give anybody the right, you know, to make comments and things like that on social media, Shebahn. It's shocking.
Yeah, and actually Arsenal have found themselves subject to this a couple of times in terms of players even getting death threats. We'd heard about Kai Havertz and his partner who's pregnant getting threats a couple of weeks ago, and it seems like Arsenal do the thing, and that is going straight to the police. And actually I believe in that situation there was a young lad from St Albans who ended up being investigated by the police over this Kai Havertz incident. So they do jump on it straight away, and they are not tolerating any sort of abuse in any form, and especially on social media. The PGMOL, the body in charge of the referees, said, "We're appalled by the threats and abuse directed to Michael Oliver following Wolverhampton Wanderers versus an Arsenal fixture. No official should be subject to any form of abuse, let alone the abhorrent attacks aimed at Michael and his family over the last 24 hours. Do you think he will have to take some time off now, Jeff?
I don't know him personally, so I don't know what he's like, how strong he is mentally, but I wouldn't have thought so. I think he'll be fine. Look, let's get it straight. He made a bad call. You know, the VAR made a worse call. Yep. But we've all made mistakes. You know, we've all made mistakes. Nobody's done it intentionally. You know, so I hope not. I mean, I hope that he can carry on with his life and not be affected by the morons who, you know, abuse him and his wife.
100%, absolutely. Jeff, just for the record, you haven't seen the Rangers sending off, have you?
No, mate, I haven't.
Oh my goodness, it is the worst decision. It's unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable how the referee thinks it's a red card. I'll take it. Here's one for you. I actually think it's worse than the Arsenal one. I actually think it's worse, and the Arsenal one was a howler.
It's no defence. It was incredibly late in the game, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
it didn't affect anything.
No, it didn't affect anything. Yeah. You know, absolutely. I mean, Rangers actually played pretty well second half. Yeah. But it baffles. We're sitting watching it as football supporters, football fans, and you're thinking, what's going through the referee's mind there? You know, when VAR, I've said, right, okay, come over here. You've made a wee mistake here, effectively. You know, that's what they're telling you. Come over, having a look at this. And he goes over and doubles down on it. I mean, I just think it's inexcusable at times. I really do.
And after Manchester United's 1-0 win at Fulham last night, Ruben Amorim has blasted a message to Marcus Rashford.
It's the same it's always the same reason. The reason is the training, the way I see what a footballer should do in training, in life, and is every day. So if things don't change, I will not change. It's the same situation for every player. If you do the maximum, if you do the right things, we can use every player. And you can see it today on the bench. We miss a little bit like pace to go, to change the game, to move some pieces, but I prefer like that. I will put Vital before I put a player that don't give the maximum every day. So I will not change in that department.
Yeah, Vital being the 63-year-old goalkeeping coach, and the inference being that he would rather have him on the bench than Marcus Rashford. And look, I wonder what the powers that be at Manchester United think about Ruben Amorim saying something like that. I mean, it's not exactly going to help sell Marcus Rashford, is it?
Well, it might. I'm not sure it'll destroy the idea or indeed the sale of him, but it certainly brings his price tag down. Yeah. I would have thought, Jeff. It actually might. I think it might do the opposite. What you say, it might encourage the sale of him, but it certainly decreases the value, in my opinion, by a considerable amount if he's coming out with comments like that.
Yeah, so it's just a way to encourage him out of the door, you think?
Yes, it certainly sounds that way and looks that way. Yeah. I mean, that's as crystal clear as it gets. I mean, and that interview was pretty damning, really, Jeff, when you think about it, you know, and he's mentioned football, he's mentioned life, you know what I mean? It's you got to do the right things, so clearly somebody's not doing the right things in football or in life.
By the way, Amorim's a great listen. Well, unless you're Marcus Rashford, he's a great listen.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah. So look, where might Rashford go? Let's welcome talkSPORT reporter Ben Jacobs onto the show. Morning, Ben.
Very good morning, Ben.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Well, thank you.
We're good. So, what's the latest on Marcus Rashford? Will he get out of Old Trafford in this transfer window?
There's a clear point of difference, isn't there? Marcus Rashford not in the squad. There might be an element of asset protection, but clearly, as Ruben Amorim alluded to, there's this idea of attitude as well. And then you have Alejandro Garnacho also linked with an exit, and he's playing for Manchester United. Marcus Rashford's preference would be to move to Barcelona. It might be a deal we have to wait for right until the end of the window. There are financial difficulties, and it would only be a loan, and Manchester United would have to contribute a significant portion of the wage. So that's the most viable option for Rashford in terms of where he wants to play. The more practical move would be to Dortmund, because they've already done a loan type move with Manchester United before for Jadon Sancho. So the clubs are aware of what kind of structure might work, but whether or not Rashford wants to go and whether or not Dortmund choose to get that one over the line remains to be seen. So Dortmund, Barcelona, or even still staying at Manchester United, but given Ruben Amorim's comments just then, it's a lot harder all of a sudden for Rashford to stay, because it does appear like the manager is implying that he wants the player gone.
Do you think, Ben, will there be is like maybe a case at United where they've got to get a few out to get a few in? Or I mean, the one thing they have done, to be fair, in recent years is spend money. Is there any incoming into United this window?
I think Patrick Dorgu is the one they're working on. I expect a third bid to come in. Lecce want 40 million in total, but they'll cede to sort of 35 million guaranteed, and then maybe there is a bit more flexibility to just get slightly south of that number. So Manchester United will place a third bid in the next 24 to 48 hours, and then we wait and see whether that deal can get done. As far as another outgoing, you might see Alejandro Garnacho move, possibly Chelsea, but there could be a window of opportunity for Chelsea to bid for Matthias Tell. Bayern are going to discuss that this morning, and if he is prepared to leave, Bayern might sanction an exit and Christopher Nkunku might go the other way, and then Garnacho ends up being at Manchester United, and suddenly they don't get that pure profit, and it makes it all the more important that Rashford goes in order for Manchester United to do business. So I don't think Manchester United can bring in that many this window, either financially or because the right targets are not available, but it will be important for Manchester United, even if they do the bulk of their business for Amorim in the summer, to get one big outgoing, whether it's Rashford's wage off the books or whether it's that pure profit fee for Garnacho.
But with all due respect to those who fill the shirts at the moment, what Manchester United need is a centre forward. That's another issue. Juan Foyth, a name familiar to Spurs fans, looks like he could be on his way to Aston Villa, Ben.
Yeah, it looks that way. Of course, Unai Emery knows him very well from their time at Villarreal, and Aston Villa are in what can be now termed advanced negotiations, and the feeling is that this one might get over the line. High priority as far as Villa are concerned, and they continue to do very savvy business. And then we need to keep an eye on Aston Villa, by the way. John Duran, Al Nassr of Saudi Arabia, expected to bid this week. I think the Villa perspective is not for sale. He only just signed a new deal. But if 100 million euros is dropped, they might change their mind, and then Villa would have a big chunk of cash, and that's where the links with a late bid for Mateus Cunha come from. I think that John Duran is actually quite interested in Saudi Arabia. I'm told he's been offered somewhere in the region of £350,000 a week, tax-free. Go and play with Cristiano Ronaldo. So let's see whether Villa's resolve is tested. But I expect Villa to have an offer for John Duran from Saudi Arabia and Al Nassr, and then Forsyth stands a realistic chance of getting over the line as well. So they're going to be busy, Villa, in the final days of the window, because it won't just be Forsyth. Like I say, if Duran goes, then I think an attack-minded player will come in as well.
Ben, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Ben. Have a good day.
Ben Jacobs, talkSPORT's transfer reporter there.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.